You're not a dish.
Hello. Music, shut up. Beautiful. Incredible. Boys, it is time for episode 31 of the RGH podcast. Kackis, Kiwi Lime, True Vanguard, Whiskey Sensation, and Mtashed are back, ready to talk about all things gaming, all things news related to gaming.
Gago.
for our
Nailed
episode.
it.
Also,
Perfect.
we're getting lit.
Oh,
The
twisted
Already,
tea.
The Tash man's got a little tea. I better not drink too much or I'll get both a tummy ache and incoherently inebriated. But anyways,
That's right.
so we've got some juicy topics today. We're going to start off with the big one, Outriders launch. Now, it is officially launching at midnight tonight for, I believe, console, and then tomorrow morning it's going to be live for everyone, but there are a bunch of content creators and Outriders ambassadors that are actually playing today, which is interesting because, you know, there's 200-300 people streaming it, and there's people starting to make videos on it, but no one can actually play, right?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of launched, and people are starting to get some footage of it,
Yeah.
and I mean, some people honestly grinded, and they're in the end game already. But we're just getting in there.
I'm like level 26. I've been taking a little bit of time, but I'm pretty close to the end of the campaign, and I'll be right into the expedition end game. Your boy's a grinder. I'm right there.
I'm about 12 hours of gameplay in so far. I'm level 21. So I was actually surprised the map is bigger than I thought. Like, you go to a lot of different spaces. I was actually impressed. There's a lot of content there, a lot of different environments, and you get to circle back to them for a couple different reasons. There's like a couple of like small quest vendors that you run into. One of them gives you like hunts. I don't know if you've done any of the hunts,
Yep.
Kackis. Yeah,
That was
So
in
you
my
just
top 5 beginner tips. I was like, do your wanted bounties, do your hunts, because they give some great loot. But you have to go back to the original town where those guys are. So you'll go quite a bit further in the storyline, but still have to go back. Kind of annoying, kind of cool though, because it keeps these places relevant. You're not just only doing everything, like, it doesn't just make all these old places that you've been completely irrelevant once you get past them.
The hunts I really liked because they take you into new places. Like, you circle back to an old place you already went to, but that you like go into a new section of that map that you've never seen before. For some of those
sometimes,
hunts,
yeah.
Yep.
which is really cool touch.
It's
But
almost like they break open little parts here and there, and they
That's
add
right.
on. And like, even with the bounty guy, you couldn't pick up some of the bounties until you actually met him, and then you can go back to the first region.
Yeah.
So you know, it gives you a reason to go back and check it out. And I'm really enjoying the game so far.
Mhm.
And like I was kind of saying earlier, it feels like everyone is scared it's going to be Anthem. They're scared it's going to be this dead, janky, buggy game. And you know what? It isn't perfect, but it is way better than Anthem in my opinion.
Like, let's say, like, we kind of have been fawning over the game, so let's do the opposite. What are the things you don't like about Outriders? Because for me, I'm still certainly enjoying the game more than I'm not. But here's the thing. Firstly, on PC, it keeps stuttering. Like, every 30 seconds, it'll do a little bit of a stutter. Sometimes, if you start it up a couple times, like, it cannot do that. But that's obviously annoying. Playing solo, like, the difficulty spikes are real. Like, you'll have to gear up quite a bit. In a game like Borderlands 3 and even Destiny, if you get like a good gun, you can cruise for quite a while.
Yeah, it'll
In
carry
this
it for
game,
several
no.
levels.
You'll get a gun that's cracked out of its mind and it slays, but in only a level or two, you got to replace it. Like, it is a pretty sharp difficulty climb.
Yeah.
But it also leads to some definitely annoying moments. Like, the enemy attacks, they're a little bit wonky, and the AI can do some kind of wonky things. And I already was complaining before the podcast, like, some of the attacks, like the area of effect attacks, like, it'll glow red to show you, hey, get out of this area. But sometimes it's so big, you're like, what am I supposed to do? You like double dodge and you still are in it. You're like, what does this game want me to do?
Well, there's these enemies called spotters that will do these mortar strikes on you while you're down there in the trenches dealing with the ads, and there's a spotter 150 yards away, and he's like, I'm gonna hit that guy with a giant mortar. And so I got
with
to the
point radius the size of a freaking like 12 Nova bombs.
As a devastator, what I started doing, I kid you not, I would run in, I'd put golem skin on, and I would run past 95% of the ads. I'd be like, screw all these guys. I'd leave captains behind me and everything, and I'd just run odd tank damage and run all the way to the back of the map and kill the spotters first. I'm like, F these guys, I'm gonna get them out of the way first.
Yeah. But so that there is some definitely annoying parts, of the game. And I think certainly when you're playing a game like Destiny 2, to be absolutely real, it's like Outriders is nowhere near as smooth in terms of gameplay. It definitely feels a little bit more clunky, right? but really any third-person shooter kind of does compared to first-person shooter, but it doesn't have that smoothness. But this, like, what do you guys think? What are some things you like aren't the biggest fans of in Outriders?
You'll go, Mike. You said looked like
just,
you had something.
Just really quickly, as you say that though, because you played a lot of Division,
Yeah.
do you think it feels as good as Division 2? Or do you think it feels worse than Division 2?
Here's something interesting. Yeah, like you don't use the cover system in Outriders. Like it's kind of a trick.
Yeah.
You don't really like sometimes to get a little bit of health back, but not really. You kind of the cover system is meant. I think people said this. The cover system is meant for the enemies. So if you're trying to play, it's like if you're trying to play Outriders like Division, Division is better because Division has a lot smoother cover to cover. It's a lot more intuitive when you're using the cover system. But if you're trying to play Division like Outriders, where you're not using cover, you're just out and about fighting enemies and stuff, Outriders feels better.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's
I would
kind of
agree.
weird in that regard.
I would say that the gunplay feels comparable, like almost on par. Like if you didn't have enough stability on some guns in Division, sometimes I felt a bit janky. But like I would say that the guns feel overall pretty decent in Outriders. I'm happy with it. I would say like targeting of abilities, like overall has been pretty good. I mean, some of them are just big area of effect, and so you don't have to worry about it. And even in Division, like there were some skills that were like a little janky, like the Hive revives and the Hive heals were sometimes a little weird, and like the little Sentinel bomb thingies. So I would say that overall it does feel pretty good for a third-person shooter.
My abilities,
it's not getting to Destiny. Like Destiny is perfection, right? But
yeah,
I would say it does feel pretty good. Other than maybe you stub your toe on a lot of stuff, and it's like, okay, you kind of get snagged on things here and there where I think I'm going to make it through, or you just kind of, you nudge it with your shoulder and it sends you flying.
Well, have you noticed your abilities work flawlessly? Like I've never had my abilities not really do. I think the one as a trickster throwing knife, sometimes it's invalid targets and I can kind of see a guy, but if I step out a little bit further behind cover, and then that's maybe the my biggest complaint. But your abilities tend to work always when you want them to, and they work how you expect them to. The jankiness comes from the enemy's abilities. The enemies can do some crazy stuff. Like the slow time bubble. I had an enemy in there just punch me full speed. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
that's against the rules.
And there's so many enemies, it can kind of so that jankiness can be a little bit compounded. But the reason I mention this stuff is so that people listening, this game is not perfect, but for goodness sakes, when we say it's good, we're coming at you with a balanced, viewpoint. And like you said, compared to Anthem, it already feels more so. It already feels like there's more to it. I've played so much of the game. I've played a lot. Like, I've been playing since Tuesday. Like, I beat the Grandmaster and then just started playing. And I haven't even started the end game. Mm-hmm. I've been playing a lot.
I love how many enemies there are, though. I love the fact that I can
aggressive
blow
too.
Everything up. I like that there's every encounter there's 30, 40 enemies, because when you do play with people, you're not fighting for it. You can do your own thing, get 30 kills in that room, and it feels like you did a lot. And that was the one thing Fruit and I were saying is I never feel like I'm competing. I never feel like you use a big ability and I'm like, oh well, I wanted to do that, And it's one thing about Destiny. Some of the recent strikes I've seen, like the Sepix Prime one, lots of enemy density. I really like that. You're really strong in Destiny. You want to kill stuff. And in Anthem, you had these amazing abilities, but one enemy would run out of these spawns, and it's what? Why is there one enemy on the map for me to fight? And you're trying to fly around and find these enemies, and there's one of them. There's no big groups to kind of get your attention. And I feel like Outriders is doing a pretty good job of keeping it high tempo. I'm always oh, this is a battle.
Oh yeah.
I was happy that pretty quickly out of the gate, you're gonna start running into encounters where you die 3 times. You're like, oh my gosh, I really gotta stop and think about what I'm doing, because I'm used to the story mode on games these days, honestly, being a really casual experience. Yeah. I'm used to not dying, and that's not that probably sounds a little arrogant, and I don't mean for it to. I feel like games, the main story mode has just been very, very easy. I think even Destiny's like this, the main story stuff that you do, the story missions are just a cakewalk.
Not just
So I'm
story
used-
missions, anything on normal difficulty.
Just your strike playlist stuff, yeah, all that.
Really quickly, if you're doing the Deep Stone Crypt raid in that first encounter and you want to wipe, so you're standing still and the dregs are coming up and they smack you up and they go back,
and your
Maybe
shield starts to
smack you
regen,
again?
you're like, do I need to tank my recovery stat?
it's almost impossible to die when you want to in Destiny sometimes.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, you're 100% right. This game feels
You have to.
Yeah.
I had a lot of instances where I actually walked away from a fight. Well, I had this a few times today where I walked away from a fight and I went back to the base and I re-kitted my build. I was like, okay, my build's not working here. I had the reflect bullets ability equipped, but it was all like animals that were jumping on me, and obviously I can't reflect bullets on animals. So I'm like, I gotta rethink my build, make sure my armor is up to par. Okay, this piece is like 3 levels behind, and that's really hurting me. And I retooled, went back in, and took care of business. I actually really liked that. I like when the game challenges me out the gate.
Yeah, there is a one boss, and I'm not going to say, because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, because the game's not out yet, but there was a boss where both Fruit and I were kind of building for abilities, and we had to completely change our build, because we're like, we can't even use them. Like we have to use our guns here. And we were shooting them and doing like no damage. Like it was embarrassing how slowly we were whittling down. We're like, this will actually take an hour if we don't change the build. Like it's impossible. And
I think I had
that's
to
been
do.
interesting.
I know. I think I know.
Most people are gonna get baited there.
I had to put on the warp rounds, like the extra damaging rounds and stuff, instead of all the abilities. Yeah, no, it is kind of interesting. And one of the things I actually had to do was there's a boss that was taking like forever, like whittled her down, had her like absolute, and then like got killed. And I was like, screw this. So what you can do is you can actually adjust the story point like whenever. So you can like do one behind the boss, or if you re-click the boss, you'll kind of spawn in on your way to the boss, and then you can peel off and go and do a couple of hunts, like you said, those manhunt things, get some gear, and kind of go back into that boss fight. So they kind of like that. I thought that was a brilliant thing, because most games would be like, oh, you're struggling with the boss? Too bad. Like, what do you get? Like, there's nothing you can do about it. Your checkpoint is at the boss, idiot. Yeah. Like, you better beat this boss.
Right.
So being able to go back was so nice.
You know what? The one thing too that was really interesting is with the demo, you didn't have all the skills for all the classes, and some of the best skills are later on. But also you didn't have enough gear to like really, I mean, you could get a build going, but not to the level of having purple gear and having like legendary gear with the higher tier mods. And so if you look at Outriders, I can imagine that people are like using their one cast of these abilities. They're like, I can do the same in Destiny. Like I can throw one grenade and I can use my melee, yada, 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 right? But the thing is
True Vanguard, you replied to the wrong tweet for like, you're supposed to put the link in the reply. You replied to episode 30, not 31.
Oh no!
I'm looking at the Twitter right now. I'm like, I retweeted the wrong one. I tweeted last week's because I was like, wait, why is this new link in there?
Sorry.
The interesting thing with Outriders though is once you start getting like further into the game and you start getting 2 or 3 casts of the same ability, it starts to be to the point. It's almost like Diablo, where you can honestly like use your abilities and you don't need to shoot your guns that much. And I'm interested to see when people start getting to that point, if the view on the game changes, because I feel like there is a lot of negative sentiment overall, and I think I like the game more than the masses do right now. But I feel like
the masses haven't
played it, right? They haven't tried it.
Yeah. Well, they did for the demo, and it's like we have no problem if someone like plays the demo and is like, "This isn't for me, brother." That's fine. Save your money. But again, there's this like weird people who like won't even play the demo. They're like, I refuse to stop playing Proving Grounds. Yeah. It's like, okay, it's just kind of like a weird. I think people are burnt out of like. There's been a lot of hype games that have fallen short, and so they're just like maybe extra cautious and to an annoying extent. Honestly, when you're trying to like just say, "Hey, this is a fun game. Here's why," people are like. Oh,
I had this guy in chat today. Let me tell you, I had this guy in chat who was like, "This game sucks because you're gonna get to the end of the storyline, and then you're gonna play the expeditions. You're gonna get to the end of the content. You're gonna have nothing left to play until the DLC comes out." I'm like, "Yes, That's how products work. When you go to Starbucks and you're like, I'll have a latte, you don't get to the bottom of the latte and be like, are you freaking kidding me?
There's nothing left.
There's nothing left. I wasted $4 on this. You know what I mean? You don't get pissed because you got to the end. You are a consumer. You consume a product. The question is the consumption of that product. Was it good? Was it enjoyable? It's one thing to say this latte was bad and I hated every sip of it and I'm disappointed. It's another thing to say, oh my gosh, I drank the whole thing. I'm pissed I got to the bottom. And it's the same thing with video games. The question is, did you enjoy consuming the product? So far, I'm really enjoying consuming this product so far. I got a lot of hours into it, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I'm itching to get back on, to be honest with you. So it's like
I can't wait for you guys to shut up so I can go back to playing this game tonight.
I'm playing this as soon as we're done. Yeah, like but what do you guys think? Do you think Outriders does well? Like, do you think people, because the weird thing is that dichotomy where most people have said it's good. Every single reviewer person, skill up, anyone who's played it is like, it's not perfect, but I'm having fun. I can't stop playing the game. It's fun, right? You know, this is not a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, I don't think, right? It's not like a Grand Theft Auto where it revolutionizes gaming, but it never built itself to be. It's just a fun third-person looter shooter, and everyone who's played it seems to be enjoying it. But do you think just because of that it does well? Or do you think like people are so hesitant, people are so, you know, worried about the next Anthem that they just don't even touch this game?
Get Game Pass.
Yeah.
It's only for
Game Pass
Xbox.
to play for free.
It's only on Xbox, the Game Pass. If you have Game Pass on PC, so it's only Xbox.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think that's enough though? Like,
I mean, the thing is like, is this better than Borderlands 3? I'm having more fun on this than Borderlands 3. I'll tell you that.
It might be. I'll have to see the end game.
Yeah, you have to get to the end game, but like, honestly, like at this point, like 10 hours into Borderlands, I was already like, eh. But this game, I want to get my builds going. I felt like I got a maxed out build in Borderlands so fast where I could just one bang everything, and I just like didn't care. It was bizarre. It was bizarre.
In Borderlands, your build is like one good gun. You get like the mega gun that just kills everything, and you just win.
The rest of your build doesn't matter. Yeah,
that's what it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there isn't as much polish as like when like Ghost of Tsushima came out. Like you could just see that that's like a pinnacle, unbelievable game, or like God of War. It's like those are a dime a dozen. Like they're so incredible. But this game, it feels like a 7 out of 10. You know, like it's got like a little bit of jank and like maybe not the best graphics, maybe some hit or miss things, but it's an overall good package, and it's better than a lot of looter shooters that have recently happened, and it's scratching an itch that like that almost Diablo mixed with looter shooter that I haven't seen in a long time. And I feel like if some big streamers come out and they say, hey, it's great, it's awesome, it's fun, maybe it gets adopted, but again, we need like a week and a half, 2 weeks. We have to see the end game and see how long people play that, because in a game like this, it might be just a fun thing. You experience it, you blow some stuff up, is what it is, and then you get out. But if this game is going to be adopted long term and people are streaming it and caring about making builds and all that stuff, it's gotta last into that end game, and people have to be enthralled by it. They have to see something there, light at the end of the tunnel where there's like a pinnacle activity, like one of the final expeditions maybe, or else they just might not ever get there. I don't know.
But it's like you have people like this guy, the Brick House, who's like, it's a 6 out of 10 game. It's like, that's why people don't want to try it. Bro, how do you know? Like, we're all playing the game. You're not Brick House, unless you're some like tiny streamer that like, I don't know. Like, that's the weird thing. You don't know it's a 6 out of 10 game. You had a very limited beta that was basically, the demo was just, do you like this style of gameplay? And a lot of people did. The abilities were very visceral, very fun. Chaining them, multiplayer was fun. So it's like, again, that's what we're talking about. There's this weird, like, people are coming in here, it's a 6 out of 10 game. Bro, again, you don't know. We literally are playing it now. We're like 20 hours in or whatever.
Yeah, it's well fleshed out. There's one thing. It's one thing to say the game doesn't look like it appeals to me. It's another thing to say it's poorly made. It's a 6 out of 10. Like Cyberpunk to me. is a 6 out of 10 game. Okay, it had a lot of
like
issues.
7 out of 10.
It had a lot of issues, but it was actually a pretty decent game. I mean, it was not well fleshed out. Had a lot of bugs, crashes, got a lot of hate, got taken out the PS Store, but it wasn't a terrible game. To say that this is worse than Cyberpunk, I think, without even playing it, by the way, I don't know about that, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I would.
It's weird. It is weird. It's like this weird negativity like holding over this game where like people, it almost seems like they want it to fail. They want it to be the next Anthem so they can tell their friends, I told you so. I mean, and even Anthem had that. Like the amount of people that like, the hate YouTubers, the people with like the downward red arrows that are in every thumbnail, those people were just like so happy when Anthem wasn't like the best thing it could be. And a lot of those people are outright liars, dude. The amount of videos I saw that were like Anthem's gonna have loot boxes when we know we were like the EA game changers, we knew it never did. That I honestly think one of the reasons Anthem failed is because you had this like weird hate movement of like people wanting it to fail just so that they could shit on EA. And the game, like people who actually played Anthem are always like, most of them are like, yeah, I actually had a decent amount of fun. I just ran out of stuff to do. They're not like sitting there like, I can't believe I wasted my time on that game, piece of trash. I hate everything. Like, It's the people who never even played Anthem that are the most vocal about Anthem. I swear to God. Like, those are the people who are like always bringing up Anthem because it's like they were right. And I can tell everyone they're right. It's weird.
Mm-hmm. And, even like Gathalion, he's made quite a few things where like people have posted about Outriders and he's like repeatedly been negative about it. Like he's just like, I don't know. It's not doing it for me. It just doesn't look good. But then Carnage was playing it and said it was good. And he's like, really? He's like, okay, well, if thinks it's good, then maybe, I don't know. Like
you gotta normalize saying, I think I might have been wrong. Right. Like people are so afraid to say, I might have been wrong about this. These days, like people, they'd rather double down and make up some bull crap to verify and validate their initial position than they would rather say, you might be right. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know what it is about people. They'd rather double down on something than be open-minded about it.
And so I feel bad for Outriders in that regard. It's like, it's doing its thing. I think it's coming out at a great time. Like this season right now for Destiny 2, what is happening right now? Nothing. Guardian Games is the next thing.
What's happening in gaming? I mean, there's just nothing going on.
I think April 1st, that's a great launch date because like you said, nothing. Like everyone is, I think hopefully people realize everyone trying to crowd around fall is dumb. Like let Call of Duty and Battlefield
let them duke it out.
Exactly. Let them fight it out, right? And then there's all this rest of the year where like nothing comes out. April 1st is a great time. But again, I feel sorry. Like, is it going to get caught in this weird negativity storm of like gamers wanting to be right about without even trying it? Like, that's what I worry about. And then people don't ever give this game a chance because it's worth giving a chance to, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. At this point in the game, if someone's like, would you recommend Outriders? I would say, if you can afford it and you like looter shooters, absolutely. I'm liking more than Borderlands. I'm liking more than I liked Anthem. And I liked Anthem. And I like it more than that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's legitimately fun. I cannot wait to play multiplayer.
We got to get together for expeditions and then get like a feel for working together.
Well, get leveling. Tell your wife and kids. Tell your wife and kids, you're not going to see me for the next couple of days. Daddy's going to work. See ya. And then you just grind and you get caught up to me and we'll play together.
That's right.
All right, let's move on from Outriders. It hasn't even fully launched yet until tomorrow.
We got a half hour out of that topic.
Yeah, exactly. Jeez. I love it though. Let's talk about Bungie's secret game. There was
we don't know what recently. It is.
We don't know exactly what it is, but there was an article. It's in another language. We had to translate it. We had to do.
I think it was a Japanese interview. I think.
And what they alluded to is we're building another game, another world parallel to Bungie. Parallel to Destiny.
That quote right there is very, very important. So the actual quote is, we are building another, and this is from Google Translate, so bear with me, right? It was referring to Vault of Glass room, right? So, it's not perfect. But the quote was, we are building a secret world parallel to Destiny 2, and we're still looking at 2025 to release it. And the reason they referred to that 2025 is that Bungie said, we are going to release a new IP 2025. All right? Everyone's with me. Now, the phrasing, a lot of people took this as they're building a new world parallel to Destiny 2. Does that mean it's in the same Destiny universe? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be Destiny Legends? And it's a battle royale. It's Apex Legends, but Destiny. Well, kind of like Apex Legends takes place in the Titanfall universe, right? Could we see that for Destiny? That was a huge topic of conversation. I took it as we're developing it parallel, as in they're developing it at the same time they're developing Destiny 2.
I would interpret it the same way.
Parallel lines never cross, right? So I think they just were saying we're building a new IP at the same time.
Alongside, yeah.
But because of this weird wording, obviously the Destiny community took this and ran with it and was like, there's going to be another Destiny
Halo
game.
StarCraft, Halo, or what was it? Halo Wars? Like
Destiny Wars. Destiny Wars, baby.
I'm telling you. Believe it or not, I think that if you did an ARPG in the Destiny world, it would pop. It would pop off. If you had thralls running around and dregs running around and you could just Zavala smash around and you had some characters, they've already got the lore. I feel like an ARPG would
art
be
style,
so
world building,
banger.
all that's all done, yeah.
Like Diablo 4, but in the Destiny world, bro, it would be so sick. It'll never happen. But
like literally like an arena shooter, maybe battle royale, like Destiny Legends, where you have Zavala and he has his certain abilities. He has a bubble. You have
like Apex Legends.
Apex Legends, like literally Bungie just rip off Apex Legends.
Skolas?
Yeah.
You got Skolas?
Maybe not a battle royale, maybe like an Overwatch style thing where it's
a champion. Yeah, that's right.
You could have Randall the Vandal, and he's just a tank, and you
you
can't kill him.
Unkillable. He has no abilities. He has like 1 million health. But here's the interesting part. I think that Bungie doesn't want anything to do with Destiny when it comes to their next project. I think they're getting pretty burnt out of dealing with me and you guys, right?
Doing us.
They're like,
that's fair. That's
Jesus Christ, everything they put out, people, it's not enough, right? And I mean, it is a real thing. Like developers will fatigue, and that's why they brought on so many new people, is that you can get fresh faces who want to be working on Destiny. A lot of the old faces, I mean, they're stepping off, they're doing other things. So I think that kind of makes it less likely that we're going to get another Destiny world game. I think we're going to get something totally different, because I don't think Bungie wants to do nothing but Destiny, honestly.
Right, yeah.
And I believe we talked about this in another episode. They tripled the size, or they're tripling the size of their studio. So if they're building a game parallel to it, they're going to have the staff for that. If they're expanding that much, they're investing in so much real estate there that I mean, if they want to grow to be this big studio that can put out a bunch of different games and have different revenue streams, they can't cash cow Destiny forever, right? They have to expand at some point, or at least diversify.
You say that, but they're still cash cowing Call of Duty, dude. In fact, it's bigger than ever because of Warzone.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
As long as there's innovation, a little bit of innovation, and that fun factor that makes it unique, I don't think it has necessarily an end point. I think it can keep evolving.
Right.
But you are putting all your eggs in one basket, certainly,
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of putting your eggs in a basket.
Well, hold on. Before we move on.
What?
About that IP game.
No.
So they said they're on track to release by 2025.
So when you're a grandpa. About approximately when you're a grandpa.
Roughly.
Okay. Well, that's
give
rich
or take a few years.
You're 3 months away from a senior's discount, Tash. Now listen.
I love not being the one being called old for once. That's great. I like this.
Yeah, actually,
I'd settle in here.
Now, 2025 new IP, right? And then what? What if it doesn't work out? there's that speculation that because they got that big donation, I think from a Chinese company that is associated with mobile games, there may be like, is it going to be like a mobile game, right? And it just doesn't vibe with the audience, whatever. Even if Bungie is sick of Destiny, do you think it is the smart move to make something in the Destiny IP? Because all that groundwork and the universe work has already done. I think Tash, you're the one who said like how much would it take to make a new IP? It's like years of that groundwork. And if you look at Destiny, there's so much old concept art, and they went through so many iterations.
Yeah, it would be like it'd be like 30% cheaper. It was like a guesstimate. Is like, by the time you do all of that stuff, like build the characters, think of the lore, create these planets, like once you do that, it's probably like 30% of the cost, because you have those art teams working on this stuff, whether it gets into the game or not. They're, creating concept art and like trying to build this world. And so there's a lot of stuff that never goes in the game, but it's a sunk cost. You spend the money on it. And so I think that it's one of those things where if you already have that world and that lore, that's like the biggest battle, is getting a world people love, and people do love the Destiny world.
Yeah,
that's the weird thing. That's what I'm saying. It's like I'm saying kind of they're not going to do that because I think they're sick of it. But like, it's kind of it's probably safe. Financially, it does make sense. So if they don't make a game in the Destiny universe, is that kind of almost admitting that they're kind of sick of Destiny? Right. They're willing to spend the extra cost to do something totally new when they had like a slam dunk within like in the Destiny universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's kind of weird. I think it would sell well because lore videos still pop off. Like people who make lore content for Destiny, 5 Mile, those videos, they get a heck of a lot of views. And a lot of the people, because I watch almost every video Mylan posts. That's a word now. Postes. Every video that he posts. And a lot of the comments that you'll see are people who are like, I don't play Destiny anymore, but I love this story. I tune in every video to hear. Yeah, the world is fantastic. How many people that are no longer because that's the thing. Maybe they're thinking we don't want to make another game that's in the Destiny universe because then we're competing with ourselves. Like we're going to divide our player base to go play our other thing. You know what I mean? We want to get new people in here. Maybe that's what they're thinking. But I think you might win a lot of people back who have at one point been passionate about Destiny's universe and are no longer engaged with it, but would love an excuse to be.
It's like how HBO is making more Game of Thrones series. They had to hit Game of Thrones. They butchered the ending, and the writer should be put on trial, and I stand by that. But they're making a series on Robert's Rebellion, like leading up to Game of Thrones. They're making multiple series in the Game of Thrones universe because George R.R. Martin did all this world building and so many interesting backstories, and there's so much left unexplored, right? That fans want more in that direction. It's kind of like what we're talking about here. Like you have all this world building, there's all these like side stories and and interesting, fascinating characters, right? Where the heck did the Drifter come from, right? All this crazy stuff. So that's what I'm saying. It's kind of weird that they wouldn't take advantage of all this world building and do, a story of the collapse, right? Or something. I don't know.
Look what League of Legends is doing. Like, look what Rise is doing. They've got League of Legends. They've had that forever. They added, Teamfight Tactics. They're building, or they did Wild Rift, which is a mobile game of League. But they're working on an MMO, and they've said, we're doing an MMO, a League of Legends MMO. So they've got Bilgewater. They've got, these different cities and Demacia and all these different places. So they've already got that lore. And now they're building an MMO there. They're also apparently doing an ARPG. And maybe the ARPG and the MMO are linked. But they're also doing, from what you can see, I think it's called the Curse of the Ruined King or something. It's kind of like almost like it seems like a Raid Shadow Legends type character team building game, like turn-based kind of thing. They're building that as well. They also did a card game. And so it's like, well, I mean, are they competing with themselves? Maybe people are playing all those games because they just love the world. But they have done what Bungie could do. They've made every genre of game. Like honestly, I'm surprised they didn't make League of Legends League of Legends shooter game like Valorant. They decided to go make some different characters, but like honestly, they could have done like a first person MOBA kind of thing. But
Honestly, and like you mentioned the ARPG, imagine like Destiny, the golden age. And it was like you would explore and like dungeon crawl in the golden age, the height of the golden age, you're going to all these planets, you'd hunt Ahamkara and stuff. Like that'd be wild, dude.
Truly.
But
because then you'd have
so
like some big bosses to fight and all that. But now, speaking of that, this has nothing to do with that, but it has to do with gaming. Can you imagine losing $47 million in assets? Well,
oh my gosh.
Well, cheat makers. There was a sting operation. There was a an investigation launched by Tencent, one of the big gaming.
If you don't know who they are, they own stake in Fortnite, PUBG, like
huge company. I mean, they own so many games. Huge, like card and stuff.
Chinese game maker, and they do a lot of mobile games though. That's kind of how they made their fortune.
Right. And so they teamed up with the police to track down cheat makers and put them in jail and raid them. They raided their compound. Lamborghinis. Like if you see the thumbnail there, that's not a meme. Like, they had like Lamborghinis and Ferraris. They seized $47 million in assets. And here's the thing, is it's like, it does break terms of service, but at what point is it illegal? You're going to jail, and we're taking $47 million in assets. Are you circumventing the microtransaction system? Are you cheating in a PvP game? And I mean,
this is also the Chinese Communist Party. So if they decide it's illegal, it's just gonna be illegal.
It's illegal.
Like there's no, you know what I mean? Like it's not like they're gonna fight him in a court of law. They're just like, yeah, get rid of them, right? So obviously that's to answer that point. But I think the more fascinating part is like cheaters are still kind of viewed as like, it's like the thing that only a few people do. But if these cheat makers,
they're making $10,000 a day,
$10,000 a day, and they're buying Lambo after Lambo.
Business is good.
Obviously, a ton of people cheat, like a ton. And obviously, Tencent is not associated with Destiny. It's probably not a very big crossover with anyone doing Destiny stuff. But yeah, like again, how many of these? Like, it kind of shows how big of an issue cheating really is.
Well, it makes you wonder, well, how much money did these ones that Bungie just recently shut down and Riot Games just shut down, right? Like how many dollars were spent on that thing, or that cheat Ring 1 is a really popular one. How many
I want to know what their revenue looks like.
Money there, because it's probably insane. And I mean, you see the recovery services and like all those different things. I've heard rumors of some of those guys making insane money doing recoveries, and the amount of people that are buying those recoveries. Well, why do a recovery when I could just cheat and do it on my own account? And I can imagine that the revenue is probably insane with both of them. People don't want to play games anymore. They don't want to be legitimate. They want to buy their way to victory.
It's so weird. Like it's like why though? Like the whole point is to see how good you are. It's just I guess you're bad. And you're like, and you want angry. The loot. You want the loot more than the dub.
Well, a lot of these games people are downloading cheats for. There's no loot to gain by playing well. You just want so me and my buddy Pureblade, we play Apex Legends on PC every week, and just this past week we ran into this guy whose name was something like iPhone Streamers, and he's a cheater. He's a known cheater. And he stream snipes people, and with a R301 from 300 yards out, all headshots, and it's he'll bag you and all that stuff. Like that's his thing. It's like, bro, these people, they don't care about loot. They don't care about that. A lot of them. It's just all about that feeling, that sensation of being like, I am God. Welcome to my lobby. I'm God. You're at my mercy. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they get off on that.
Which is crazy, because it's like that's the least satisfying thing for me. Like if I just killed a bunch of people, I'd be like,
well, that's because you have an average to above average penis.
Oh,
yeah, that's why you don't get off on that.
That's true.
True. But that is like, if you're the type of person who needs to download a cheat and then go around to purposely stream snipe people, like you're probably not, let's just say swimming in one of our later topics. You're not. You're probably don't have a ton of friends. You're probably like in your mom's basement. You know, you got given. Your mom brought you down your chicken tendies, and you have your ring one. And you're going to town, right? So, and these people. The interesting part is like they don't stop. They'll like make a new account. That's why cheating went up so much when Destiny went free to play. Is that the limit of like having to rebuy the game went away. So you just make a new account and just get rebanned and rebanned and rebanned. So
right,
like it's like what are they gonna do? And it's also like how are these multi-million-dollar developers having trouble stopping these like random people? But then again, this article makes you think like you'd think like cheat makers are random. Some dude in a basement comes up with a cheat. But no, they're driving around in Lambos, dude. They got a lot of resources, and so maybe that's why you do see that it is hard for like these big gaming companies to tango with them.
Or it's like disgruntled employees. They're like, all right,
yeah,
I'm leaving Bungie. I'm gonna make cheats. Like, honestly, like reverse engineering it or like understanding the code and the back end. I guarantee there's people that are in the gaming industry and they're like, I can make more money building cheats for this game than for the game, you know?
Yeah. So I want to know is the war on cheaters going to escalate? It's going to be like in our time version of the Colombian drug cartels versus the world. You know what I mean?
Who knows?
Someone's going to be making a documentary on all the stuff that went down behind closed doors.
They're going to start like holding the servers ransom and stuff, like
right?
DDoS
Okay,
like
for real though.
Yeah.
The problem though is that if these cheat makers, you know, unlike the Colombian drug cartel, if a cheat maker picks up an AK-47, he won't even be able to hold it. You know what I mean? Like these guys are gonna survive hiding in the jungle without their mom's chicken tenders. You got no chance. These guys got no chance.
Pablo Escobar was a pot-bellied, you know, druggie.
Well,
but he paid the right people, okay?
But the interesting part is like maybe this is like why you need to go after these cheat makers fast, furious, and early so that they don't grow into like because they have so much resources, $10,000 a day, multiple Lambos, right? They probably still have enough maybe hidden assets or stashed cash to like restart up. So you kind of gotta have to like go after them early, go after the startups.
And the more money they get, they can start expanding into other games and hiring more developers and
that's
like
right.
and like backups for how to get it in the system and cheat. And like you're thinking they're gonna be in the jungle. Bro, they got 47 million, they got a yacht. They've got like a secret yacht base out in the water. Like we don't even know where they are. Like there's cheaters everywhere, man. They're rich. They've got an island with a freaking volcano layer at this point. Like we're done. There's nothing you can do.
Right.
But I mean, it's bizarre. It is truly bizarre. But I just, you know, I hope that these companies can get it under wraps a little bit because it is super frustrating. I think it doesn't impact people as much as, you know, I think streamers and stuff, like obviously they see it because people do it purposely to them. But
and they play the game so much more.
Exactly. Yeah. But even with trials, the other weekend, we were kind of saying there's way more people playing, and the cheater amount was about the same, but you just didn't see any because there were so many other players
run into them.
Right. So, but speaking of bans.
Before we speak about bans.
Oh yeah, let's talk about
that. Take it away. That's your cue.
Advanced GG. Our stream is sponsored by Advanced GG. They make amazing energy drink products. We've got Focus, we've got the energy formula, and if you go to advanced.gg and use the code RGH, you get 10% off. They've got a ton of brand new flavors like the kiwi cactus lime,
I'm going to order some of that kiwi lime right now. I keep putting it off. Now we're talking about it.
It's good
right now.
It's good.
Code RGH so you pay yourself.
May as well.
Yeah, exactly. And
I'm going to put like a link in the comments there.
Do it, gamers. It's good stuff. We drink it all the time. The flavors are fantastic. Right now, you know what I actually did?
Wow.
So 2 of my new favorite flavors, obviously Kakis Kiwi Lime, the pinnacle of everything, the best flavor to ever grace this planet. But 2 other flavors, the birthday cake and then the strawberry shortcake, you can mix with milk, and they're delicious. Like the birthday cake with milk is like the vanilla milk to go. So good. Now, what I actually did is I made a protein shake. I had like a vanilla whey protein. They put a little bit of birthday cake in too, so you're gonna get those gains, and then you're gonna get that energy to go grind Outriders for 12 hours in a row.
Incredible, the combo. Now, speaking of bans, we saw the weirdest ban on Twitch ever. It is the first case of this ever. Though. Yeah, you're right. There's probably something else.
The weirdest ban of the last week or so, which is saying a lot in the Twitch world.
Yeah, but it's something that I've never heard of, and it draws a weird question of like, well, what else can get you banned? And like, is this a ban? Like, should it be banned? Like, let's explain. There's a girl, it's Pinky, and essentially what she did is said, hey, like, can I even say this on YouTube without getting demonetized? Like,
why not?
Can I say it? I think I can say it. Probably. She said, I can queef on command. And everyone's like, no, you can't. And she's like, oh, no, I can't.
If someone says that,
right? You're gonna challenge them, right?
Yeah, if someone says that, you're gonna say,
all right, we're gonna throw down now.
You can't just say, anyways, back to what I was talking. You gotta say, all right, you know what I mean?
Right.
The curiosity is peaked. Consider it peaked.
So she grabs a microphone, she goes down there, and she does it. And everyone's like, wow, you can. It's incredible.
Whatever word.
Right? And she ended up getting banned. It was a 3-day ban, and there was actually a big uproar. There was a lot of people saying, this is bullcrap. This wasn't even sexual. It's a bodily function, yada, yada, yada. There was a lot of people defending it, saying, this is a joke that she got banned. But then there's other people saying, hey, she's putting her microphone by her privates. She's making noises with it. And it's like, where do you draw the line? If Ryan pulls down his pants, has his mic down there and is slapping it around and you can hear it smacking, does that break the rules? Is that TOS? And it's this unprecedented thing. It's like, well, where do you draw the line? Because if you fart into the mic, people could say that's sexual.
Well, I was going to say,
I don't know.
I was going to say, is that a thing? Like, is anyone, I'm sure people have like farted into their mic on stream.
100% someone's done that.
I've done it on accident.
Well,
not directly into the mic, but
but that is also, it's not a genital, but it is like a private part. You're not allowed to show your butthole on stream, like that one chick.
But she got like a 3-day ban for showing her butthole.
That was way more egregious. But
if somebody had told me 2 years ago, TV, in 2 years, you're gonna be hanging out with Mike and Kackis on a live show on YouTube talking about queefs, I'd have said you're crazy. You're crazy. Here we are.
But that's a legitimate question. Is farting bannable? Like, if you fart, is that bannable?
Right. And so here's the thing: is it because she's on camera putting it down there? People are looking directly at it. Is it because you're drawing attention? And the reason I bring that up,
I feel like if you did that but you farted,
yes, yeah, I would say it should be a ban then if it's on the same level, right? And like indie
Fox
from the
south of mouth.
Jesus
I love
Christ.
chat.
Like this girl, Indie Fox, she was writing all her subs on her body and her legs and stuff, and that was all good. But as soon as she started putting them on her chest, she ended up getting banned as well. And then she did another stream after, and she's like, hold on, I'm going to test this. Is it because I was doing it there? And she did it all over her body again, but avoided the chest, and she didn't get banned because she wasn't drawing attention to, that part of her body. And it's like, it's these weird gray lines, and like, well, what's bannable? What isn't bannable? Like
it's part of
let's say
precedent.
Let's
There's
say
no precedent.
She wasn't on camera. Let's say she wasn't on camera, and she just did this with the mic, just like me, like camera like this. Would it be a ban? Because you can't see it. How do you know?
Nice.
How do you know that it's not like a little machine? Like, is it because she was standing there like this? I don't know. It's such a weird
right
thing.
because that was the focus was right
It's
on her
definitely- Like it's definitely lewd, but like, is it? I don't. I was just like, I watched that clip and I was like, huh. Like some people are getting like so righteous. It's like,
I didn't get offended.
This is why Twitch is failing. It's like, bro, like some girl
Think of
doing
the
this is not
children.
taking away from you playing Warzone or whatever you're doing, right?
Right.
Like,
That's right.
like
There's no overlap in your communities.
The only
Right?
thing is, like, where do you draw the line, though? It's like, just because you can do something, like, does it need to be out there?
that's the thing,
right? Like, hey, like, look how stretchy my ball sack is. Like, you know, I'm just saying, like, you know, just because someone can do it doesn't mean you have to show
That's
it.
what you should. I
Right?
think
I don't know.
that is a good point, though. It's like, in hindsight, if I was like, I would probably tell people not to do that on stream. Like, don't do that on stream because you could get banned. I would probably say that before this happened. I'd probably be like, oh, probably not. Because the rules, like, there is rules about being too sexual. And yet you do see people doing IRL streams in bikinis or in, shirtless or whatever, right? So there's just like, it is such a gray area. There's so many different examples of you could sway either way in terms of maybe it's bannable one day, but maybe in a different context it's not bannable. So with these companies, like I feel like they tend to err on the side of caution sometimes, and especially since Twitch has been under fire since the actual butthole incident.
Right.
Of like the cheek spreading, that was international news. And I think now maybe Twitch was kind of like, oh my God, we don't want that to happen again. And so they banned her because they were just kind of like, we can't go through that again.
And it's just a slap on the wrist. Let's be real.
It really isn't too bad. 3 days.
3 day weekend on the weekend. She's not
Mike
streaming
got
anyway.
banned 2 weeks.
Bro.
And reinstated, but 2 weeks or a week for telling people not to attack someone. So Twitch is clearly, banning people for some weird reasons.
You know, I'm wondering, did she grow?
Apparently she did. She got some.
Yes, she did. Because all these, well, I mean, so a lot of it was a lot of other women who are prominent in the streaming community spoke up on their own platforms and said, hey, this girl didn't really do anything wrong. This is kind of funny. Like, and so a lot of people felt motivated to go and support her because a lot of influential women in streaming were taking her side. And so absolutely she got a lot of notoriety. I had no idea who she was, Pinky, before all this.
Right.
But now I do. You know what I mean? I didn't know her beforehand. I sure know her now. And so absolutely she's going to get some growth. Is that a bad thing? If you get upset about that, I think it's kind of silly.
It's not astronomical, but she's at 27,000 followers and she got 6,000 in the last 30 days. So I mean, for a channel that size to get 6,000, she's getting a few here and there, and then a couple days she's getting 2,000 followers, like 1,000 one day, another 1,000, 2,500. So I mean, that is a big boost kind of at that point. If
you wanted to be nefarious about this, you could say maybe she did it and she knew she was going to potentially get banned. She knew it was lewd. She did it for the followers. Clearly it worked, caused a big incident, and almost her getting banned benefited her even more because now it's more of a story. Yeah. We wouldn't even talked about this if she wouldn't have got banned. Like straight up. We probably wouldn't have first.
There's a lot of articles from online periodicals that were written about her story. So she got a ton of attention in that regard.
Let me be clear. I don't think that she had some sort of weird master plan. I just thought when you're streaming, you're very in the moment. I think she just did something. She's like, this is funny. A lot of people thought it was. She popped off. You know what I mean? Like streaming's all about these like viral moments. Thank God they didn't air a random Twitch ad for The Boys season 2 that took 3 minutes, and it would have cut everything out. And we would have missed this whole glorious story.
Right.
And honestly, like, it's just such a weird line to draw because it's like, well, are you saying that it's sexual? Because, like, honestly, I would say that, like, ASMR is. I understand that people say it's, like, relaxing, but when someone's in your ear, Like I can't listen to that. Like
Yeah,
it is like holy man, this is
if you know, and they're like
right.
you're like eating, and it's always like honey.
That's not
and
relaxing. That's not
the only
relaxing.
thing-
Listening
the
to
only
someone
relaxing
chomp.
you're doing is you're relaxing after you watch ASMR. If you know what I'm saying?
Hell.
You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
what you're relaxing you're doing. You're not relaxed. Like, come on, buddy.
The thing is you never know if you're gonna get banned. You can stop bullying, you're gonna get banned. You queef in command, you're gonna get banned. Honestly, if you wear an ugly shirt, you might get banned. You never really know with Twitch. So just like, don't stream on Twitch. Stream on YouTube, like Ryan's been doing. Like, how's it been going, by the way? Are you vibing there still? Like, did you stream today there?
Oh, I love it. I sure did. Yeah. So the thing is, I think that YouTube's algorithm is just so good for discoverability. And it's even better if you already have a following. So my Destiny streams pop off, you know, it's good to see. It's good to see numbers that I was hitting during good days on Twitch. You know what I mean? And I never publicize it. I don't go on Twitter and say, hey guys, I don't try to hype it up. I don't put out a video the day before like, hey guys, please show up tomorrow. I'm doing it. I just literally all I do is I hit the go live button on YouTube. I don't tell anybody, and I just see who shows up, and it pops off. And I'm like, bro, this is great.
Tell people, it'll pop off even more.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I want to get a really good understanding of what every day, like daily, your day-to-day grind is going to look like. Not your best days. I don't want to hype it up. I want to see what it's going to look like on a random Tuesday out of the blue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's how you have to gauge everything with like, because I mean, that's just. I mean, that's the biggest thing with this business is like, I always view Twitch as like a fun thing that I do on the side because it's so random on like if people are subscribing and all those different things. But with YouTube, I can see views are going up, income goes up, you know, like I can budget for that. And I don't want to base my life on some dude gifting 200 subs in my chat. Like, that just stresses me out. I want to know on a random day, on a random slow time, can I pay the bills? Is this a viable, you know, business and all that stuff? That's where like all the decisions come from for me. Like you can't look at your metrics when Genshin's popping and be like, all right, that's it forever. Like that's not a thing. You got to look at it right now when Genshin's slow. I'm trying a new game. Is like, all right, like, where
for me, it's like, can I live off when Destiny is dead 25 times a year? Right? Because
is that enough?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
For 90% of the time when Destiny's dead, can I live off that? And then when the 10% is actually good, finally.
How good is it? Yeah.
All right. Now, I want to be honest with our audience. There is a fifth secret topic, and there is no topic, but we thought like maybe we would think of one. But
no, that's not true. We the Cyberpunk update.
Yeah,
was a topic we talked around, and the Grandmasters.
The Grandmaster is honestly, I didn't think it was that hard. Everyone's like talking about how hard it was. I didn't think it was that hard. I put out a video that, of course, nobody watched in this game, but about like you can cheese it. There's some things you can do. There are some little cheeky tricks. I really did. It takes a little bit of time, but it's not that bad. But certainly. I just want to say quickly, the interesting part about the Grandmaster is the fact that it is harder. Like, it is objectively harder than last week's and the week before. And when there's no difference in loot, like, yes, the palindrome is dropping, but the palindrome will drop later down the line when you can select which Nightfall you want to do, right? So then we're Gucci. So that's kind of the big debate. It's like, should you get better rewards based on how hard the strike was? Certain strikes, Glassway, Corrupted, are substantially harder. Right. And Bungie doesn't really have a good answer for this. The answer is strike exclusive loot. That has always been the answer.
That and stat rolls. I totally agree with you. Yeah. That strike specific loot and how frequently it'll drop for you depending on your difficulty level, and stat rolls should, if you're doing a Grandmaster and you complete a Grandmaster activity, I think you should say it's not going to be under 62 stat roll. Every piece of armor you get, if you get an exotic or an armor piece, it's going to be 62 or higher.
But that the issue with that, I agree. But the issue with that is like then it would that still wouldn't mean like why would you do this week's? Why wouldn't you just do last week's? It was way easier. Again, like they need the solution is strike exclusive loot. So the reason you do the extra hard strike is because there's a unique reward associated
I
with
think
it.
it's both and right.
Justify it, right? The problem is like the rewards are all the same. The hard strike and the easy strike are both giving you shards and engrams and whatever nightfall weapon is on. Anyways, that's the issue. It's the answer is strike exclusive loot. It always is. Bungie, come on, get on it. All right, there we go.
The other one though was Cyberpunk. They actually just released saying, you know what, we're rethinking doing the multiplayer. There was a plan of doing multiplayer in the game, and they're saying no, it's not going to happen. And honestly,
I am a little bummed by that.
Yeah, like it's crazy because
I would have played it.
If you look at Cyberpunk stock, it dropped again today a whole bunch. It's actually at one of the lowest points it's ever been. And I wonder if it's coming off that news of like, holy cow, this is getting even worse than it was. You know, it's not going to recover sales the way we thought. And I mean, that's a big feature saying, yeah, we're not doing that anymore. Like it's just not going to happen. And everyone was expecting it to happen.
I was actually kind of excited about that idea because me and my my evening gaming group is me, my wife, and our two best friends from college. And we game all the time together. We're the best of friends. And some of our greatest seasons of gaming were like GTA Online. We even did like Red Dead Online. And so we've kind of been itching for another experience kind of like that. And we thought Cyberpunk, when they get their stuff together, because they're extremely huge Witcher fans. And so, you know, they believed in CDPR and what they could accomplish. So we kind of thought, if and when that comes out, that could be something really fun for us to do together. But now knowing it's not going to happen, that's kind of a bummer. We would have played it. We'd have given it a shot.
Like, bro, game. Just what a fall from grace.
Mm-hmm.
Such a weird storyline. Like, who would have thought? Like,
yeah,
that Cyberpunk. Right. I would have thought that Cyberpunk just absolutely slaps.
It was a decent game. I mean, I played it start to finish.
Good enough for the hype. Like not even
not
good enough for a CD Projekt Red game. It's almost like they were a victim of their own success in that Witcher was so good and they were so loved that they did
anything less than a banger.
They try to do way too much stuff in Cyberpunk. Like there's all this. Do you need the whole like thing where you like fast forward and rewind, like it's like a detective game almost? Like, do you really need that feature?
Done that more. Like that feature only comes up a few
take
times.
That completely out of the game because but TV realistically, it's like, do you really need that? Probably not. You could have saved the development time on that and use it for not making it crash every 6 seconds on the PlayStation.
I say I go the opposite direction with it. I say that's a cool, innovative feature that they should have leveraged more. It's not that they don't use it enough for it to justify. I say because I guarantee this. I know this is true because I looked at the Google trends. People were Google searching where can I buy brain dances, where can I buy BDs in Cyberpunk. People wanted to have a store they could go to and buy brain dance activities that they could put on that VR headset thing and like do the rewind and experience something. Truthfully, most of the people who wanted that feature wanted it for mature content, but still, like people were craving it. They were like, "Yo, let me do some BDs. I want to get there and do the slow mo and the fast forward to the rewind." You know, they really wanted to do that.
Think of all the activities they could do. They could do like a brain dance for like a professional boxing match, and it's like you're going back through like all the moments, or like a chef, you know, in a kitchen, and you like do these little mini games, right?
If the game doesn't work properly.
Oh yeah, but in the best world it would. In the best world it would.
In your dream world. Well, I don't know where you guys live. I live in a place called the real world, and clearly
we don't play video games to experience the real world. Right?
I do it to escape my crippling depression. Okay.
They bit off more than they can chew. I would have had them dial it back, make a smaller map, make it less crazy. That's what I'm saying. They tried to do way too much, and they couldn't.
Go play RuneScape.
They tried to do way too much, and they tried to make it all work on last gen consoles, and it just like, what if they like they're basically trying to do the impossible? They're doomed from the start.
I don't know. I think everything that I think the scope of what they set out to do was attainable, and they know it was attainable, and they have doubled down on that, and they have said we can live up to our promises. They needed more time, and they needed to not. You're absolutely right about last gen. They needed to drop last gen too.
We'll see. I hope you're right, honestly.
But what?
It's time
for the end of the episode. Goodbye. Thanks.
Something a little fun we call Real Gamer Hours After Dark, and this is where we don't have any more topics. The viewers, they get to ask. Oh my gosh, that twisted T just got down. We go crazy. The viewers now get to ask us. Usually, this is where we go completely off the rails. Now, we used to have this members only. We don't anymore. But if you want to become a member, if you want to support us and get some awesome emotes, then Tash, I don't know where he is. When he gets back, if he's not too sauced up with some twisted tea, he'll post the link, or you can just click, there's like a join button right beside subscribe. You can just click that and become a member, support us. And obviously we give a little bit of bias towards members asking questions for this part, so just being real.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're using their resources to support us.
So this is where go ahead and ask your questions.
Is it just me, or is Kackis a bit much? Listen, we didn't have Kackis on here because he's boring and mundane, and you know what I mean? Well, we love Kackis because he's exceptional at being extraordinary.
You can't have a podcast with 3 true Vanguards sitting there.
That would be boring as heck. I'm gonna be real with you guys.
Minds, dude,
that would be so boring.
Like,
just so monotone and even keeled. Like someone's got to get animated. All right,
that's me. All right, Tash, post the link, the join link in the description.
Sure.
You guys ever get your gamer tags? I don't know what that means.
Where'd you guys get your gamer tags? My gamer tag comes from Mass Effect. So when I made the transition from Xbox to PS4 back in the day, I never owned a PlayStation console before the PS4. So when I made the change to PS4, because that's where my close friends that I was talking about earlier were going to, and I left Xbox behind, I needed to have a gamer tag. So I tried to bring over my Xbox One, and it was already taken because it was so cool. Someone saw it and was like, "I'm gonna steal that." So I was like, "I got to come up with a new one." And I was like, "What do I do? What's a gamer tag that would really suit the way that I play games?" And I had just come off of doing a complete playthrough of Mass Effect 1 and 2. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go with... I was playing the Vanguard class. You know, if you remember Mass Effect 2, the Vanguard class was the one that had the bionic charge. He kind of goes like this, and then he teleports into the middle of all the action with an SMG or a shotgun. Just and I loved that. And that's kind of the way that I always play games. Anyone who watches my stream with Destiny, I run Devour build. Why? So that I can just hold forward all the time. Like, never stop to heal, just hold forward. And so I was like, I'm kind of like a true Vanguard in that sense. Like, I just rush in. Yo, I'm going to go with true Vanguard. My wife shamed me. She was like, that's the stupidest name I've ever... That sounds so like a 12-year-old gamer kid idea. And I was like, shut up, I don't like it. And now...
It's your brand.
It's my brand.
I mean, she was right, but you made it work.
Yeah, tell them your story, Kackis. Yours is interesting.
No, I'm good, dude.
Okay. Mine is just a mashup of all my names. Michael Eddie Tash. It's just Mtashed. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know. Got no idea.
Mtashed Ed. Yeah.
Someone said, who would win a 3-person Hell in the Cell between you guys? I would demolish these two. I demolish them.
He would get so gassed so fast. He was not an athlete like I was. I have the stamina.
You were not an athlete either.
Oh my god! What are you talking about?
Listen,
Div 2 hockey does not make you an athlete, dude.
I was number 1 doubles in the varsity tennis team. All right, so you just imagine you right here, and I'm just
That
You know what I'm
was,
saying?
I do
got that
think
emotion
about that. I
down,
think about that
baby.
constantly.
Division wrestling champ. I did boxing for years and years. So that's actual combat sports experience. Tash, the closest thing Tash got into combat was getting checked by someone and then crying.
I
okay?
boxed too, though. I did box too. I
You
feel,
actually?
yeah, I did. How much do you weigh?
I weigh like 200, like a little over 200.
Oh, really? Okay, so I mean, we'd be in a very different weight class, but like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
yeah, like it wouldn't be a competition. Like I'm like 165, so it's like I'd get shit on. Like
You
there's
see
no,
this
there's
arm?
no.
Just the amount of
He'd
power.
overbought me, man. But I can throw him fast. Like I
agree.
I feel like I'd be good for my weight, but like
if you
I'm not gonna fight a
somehow-
gorilla.
If you somehow dodge all these punches and I win myself, I get tired, which is a possibility for sure. Then you guys might start to have a chance. But that
I'd have to Conor McGregor around. And just,
wait,
you know.
Tash, you saw how quick I was. Remember last time we hung out? You saw I was quick.
He
I
gets
was
little
quick.
feet.
You could stop me, baby.
He kept doing that. Like when we were on our little vacation, he would kind of look at me and then he'd just go and he'd kind of shake, like he was gonna sprint at me.
I wouldn't shake.
So
I would
scary.
jump feet like 6 feet to the right and back. To him,
Okay.
it looked like a shake.
Okay.
To him,
What's funny is in his mind, he's like, "Oh, I was so nimble." It looked like it was
I
the
love a
most.
pregnant
It
cow.
was so pathetic that like we kind of laugh
Oh
about
my
it now.
gosh.
But now that you're saying this, like I think you're actually convinced that you're this nimble little ninja, and that is far from the truth.
Oh my gosh! If I grabbed if we were wrestling, I would destroy you. You'd have no chance. It's like a man who's been lost at sea. You look like a guy who they have on the news that they like found somewhere and who's like missing for months. Like, look at you.
I'm
You look
lean.
malnourished.
I'm lean. I'm ready to go.
Why is one arm so much bigger than the other arm?
Do you want the truth? Why is this arm bigger than this arm?
A lot.
From hockey. Because you have one hand on the stick so long,
Yeah.
and you're just like sweeping with it all the time. This arm is jacked, bro. It is jacked. And
I gotta
this is
watch
my dominant
watch
hand.
the right. If I pivot you, if I can get you throwing your left, nothing. It's like hitting
No.
me with a feather duster.
So here's the fun thing: is I actually I fight like this is my good throwing arm, and because like normally your strong arm is the back one here. My jabs crush, and I bait the shit out of people. I go for the haymaker. That was my thing. I'd go like this, and I'd go for the haymaker, and then jab, and they're done. It was the sneakiest thing. I don't know what it was. Catch them off guard, and that's what I'm gonna do to you.
Now he knows.
Even though I told you the strat, watch for the jab.
As if I punch you as hard as I could with my right hand, I think you'd die. Like your chest would cave in. Like, I think it'd be over, honestly.
God!
All right, we gotta move on because otherwise this is gonna be half an hour of talking about who would win in a fight.
I'm gonna have to bring a weapon. It's like would a rabbit with a knife beat a gorilla?
Yeah.
Like I don't know, maybe, man.
The problem is if you did bring a weapon, you'd have to bring a weapon that you're not too scared and sick of it hurting people to bring.
Oh god.
You'd pass out on the way with just the thought of hurting me with the weapon. That's the problem.
That's true. If you watched the last episode, you'd get that reference, but you don't watch all of
If you're
our.
a loyal viewer, you get that reference. If you don't get that reference, honestly, pick up your game and you better be hitting that bell icon besides subscribe because you call yourself a fan, you're literally not. Just kidding.
Check this out, guys. Unrelated. I just got myself a brand new smoke gun for
for
do you think it's
smoking
for?
your drinks. You're smoking your whiskeys.
bingo.
Bingo.
Smoked.
I literally, when you said smoke gun, I thought fog machine. I was gonna say like to make your stream.
Everyone's doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, you get a triple, then the fog starts coming up. You're like, who's back, baby? So
yeah, I'd have to noise gate it. No, I'm pretty excited about it.
I'm trying to look at other questions, but literally
Everyone's just
talking
talking about this.
Every single person in the chat is just talking about Mike's right hand from gripping the stick because he's gripping that stick so hard.
I never said it was a hockey stick. I bet you've never been in a fight. I've been in multiple fights, but you might notice My face, immaculate. Because they don't hit me. I would put them down so fast. I'm telling I'm telling you, every fight I was in, I put them down so fast that they just didn't hit me. And I was like, all right, like I guess. And then the one fight where I got into some trouble, I was like, I'm not doing this again.
I'm done.
I care about I got kind of a crooked nose. I don't know if you could tell. It's not, I don't think I broke it, but I'm just like, nope, never again. I'm too much of a baby. I don't want to get hit. I liked it when I was hitting people, but I don't like getting hit. I'm a baby, man.
Someone said, bro, I asked a question. Ask it again, because we missed it.
I have a question though. Now that you said about the smoke gun. With the smoke gun, do you use like a wood chip? Is there like a
I've got hickory wood chips in here. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So you get a nice rubber seal that goes around the rim of the glass, and then you burn the hickory, and then the smoke comes through a rubber hose and smokes into the glass and fuses the smoke flavor into the whiskey. But you can use several different types of wood chips, so I'm excited to play around with it.
Is it better to pour the drink and smoke it, or is it better to smoke the glass and then pour it in quick and like try to catch it? You know what I mean?
No, you want to get your whole drink mixed up first, so that it's all mixed up. It's all the ratios in there are good, and then you infuse it with the smoke flavor. It's the last thing you do. And then you pop the seal off, and then you can drink. So you got the smoking glass.
I feel like that'd be good with almost like if you did like a mojito type thing too. Like I feel like there's a lot of ways you could
I'm gonna experiment. I'm gonna experiment with it. I got a lot of different mixing agents. So
like a Mai Tai maybe. I don't know. Like,
yeah, like Mike's asking about this like smoke gun. Like he isn't just gonna put like this much alcohol, this much juice, and just Mai Tai.
Hey, pina colada.
Man, don't know, man. I do a lot of tropical drinks for my wife. You know, I love using fresh ingredients too. I love starfruit. You ever use fresh starfruit juice on anything? It's hard to get the juice out of starfruit because if you ever seen
Pokemon,
starfruit's passion fruit too. Passion fruit's really good. Have you ever seen the inside of a passion fruit? It looks like snot. It just looks like snot.
I used to work. I used to work at the Safeway produce department, so I am a fruit guy. I've cut up every fruit. Dragon fruit, star fruit.
Yeah, I use fresh dragon fruit, star fruit, passion fruit. I use all that stuff in mixing.
I love the look of a dragon. It's like a cookies and cream inside. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I made Kackis's cocktail out of dragon fruit. I think that one was a banger. A banger drink.
Next time we're together, you gotta make me one because I will. Obviously, I never got it.
Yeah, they're real good.
Dude.
Bless you.
Someone asked about will you ever have guests? No, this isn't a guest podcast. You can tell by our other 30 episodes. And then Star Citizen recently hit $300 million in funding. Do you guys think the full game will ever release? Great, that's a crazy story. I've been hearing about Star Citizen for like what feels like a decade now. Like this game has been like the next big next gen thing forever.
I thought it was at 150 million before, and now it's doubled. Like it just seems like the number keeps going up.
And will it succeed? Like, will it, or is it just going to be another CD Projekt Red? Like, it seems like it's like a massive undertaking, and it can't. I swear I've heard like rumors about it releasing soon for years. So like, obviously, it's having some issues.
I've never even seen gameplay of it and like what it is. Do you fly around? Do you go to the planets?
Yeah.
Like, what is the scope of this game? I don't know.
It's basically like a really high def first person, like No Man's Sky kind of. At least that's the vibe I got from it years ago when I first saw it. Like I don't know how much has changed since then.
It's a Ponzi scheme, right?
Seriously, keep putting your money in, and then one day they're like, it's not happening.
Yeah, put $10 in it and tell people about Star Citizen. Tell 2 of your friends about Star Citizen, and then $10 and you get a little bit. Like literally, dude.
Do you want to be an entrepreneur?
You ever squad up for Warzone? I've only played it like 2 or 3 times with a couple buddies from hockey. That like I just never.
We're gonna squad up in Outriders. That's for sure.
Yeah. Heck yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Someone said some random person, never heard of her, said mini eggs or Cadbury cream eggs.
If you like cream eggs, you're a freak. They're disgusting, man. Like the cream just ruins it. Chocolate, and then they throw this cream at you. Get the hell out of my face. Give me a mini egg, a little candy coating, some milk chocolate. End of the day. Boom.
Now, I do love mini eggs. In fact, this random person who asked the question, I may actually know who it is, and this person may have bought 2 industrial-sized bags of mini eggs and basically eaten both of them for herself. I smelled a mini egg. That's the closest I came to consuming a mini egg. All right. Now, this person, though, will buy things and show me and then demolish them. It's truly upsetting. Now, but I don't mind a cream egg, dude. I don't mind a cream egg, dude.
I don't mind.
You know what, though? I haven't had one in like maybe a decade. I haven't had a cream egg. So when I was a kid, they were popping.
Yeah, I feel like you could put nuts with the chocolate. You could put peanut butter with chocolate. You could put even maybe a fruit with the chocolate. You can put candy coating with the chocolate, salt with chocolate. There's so many ways you could chocolate it up, and then you just add like a creamy, gooey, sweet. Like it's. I feel like it's conflicting flavors there that it's not for me. And don't even get me started on an orange egg. Get that out of my face. If you have an orange chocolate egg, like what are those? The chocolate orange, you're a psychopath. I'm sorry. That is what it is.
I'm more into sour candies, personally. I don't dislike chocolate, but I won't pick it over a sour fruit candy. Like,
why do you want like why? But why not? Why not just a normal gummy? Why not like a gummy bear or like a gummy worm?
I don't like gummy bears.
Why do you have to make
the flavor's weak and it takes too long to chew them? Give me like okay, taffies are good. You know, Laugh Taffies, Airheads, but cherry sours, cherry sours, bro.
There's the old man TV coming out. I like a good Werther's taffy, a good caramel candy.
I didn't even say. The caramels you're eating are sour, bro. We need to talk about where you're getting your caramels from.
I like taffy and hard candies. I can give them to the children as they go by.
Just a heads up, we've had a lot of donations today. Like throughout the day, we've had a bunch. No, the issue is Steven Mendoza. He recently did a $5 one and says, "Do you have an outro yet, or would he be cutting more and more people off at the end of stream?" That's the only one that showed up. But I saw there was like a $10 one earlier and some other ones that popped up. But they're just not showing up for some reason in the viewer activity. So if you did donate, if you became a member, thank you so much for supporting. I'm sorry we didn't shout it out in the middle of the podcast, but it's just not showing up, and we normally would talk about it kind of during this section, but they're MIA. So thank you so much.
It's amazing how much support we get when you remember to turn on the ability to get support. That was a rough couple of weeks. We thought everyone hated us. Turns out.
That is fair. It wasn't me. I didn't.
Yeah, true. It was all of us. Hey, if there's not some sort of weird technical issue, it's not a real Gamer Hour episode.
That's right.
We're too busy gaming to figure out all this tech.
Literally.
Like, it's a miracle I get out of bed each day. So the fact that I can do tech is like...
I don't have that option. My kids, if I don't get out of bed, my kids will literally start jumping on my chest. Dad, get up! I need breakfast or I'll kill you! Haha, it's a joke, but really? That's what I live with.
Okay, I got a question for you. What kind of breakfast are they vibing with?
So, well, it depends. Honestly, my kids are. It's a toss up. Sometimes I'll go down there and they're like, "We want eggs. Make me eggs." And then other days it's like, "I want a Pop-Tart. I want cereal. I don't know, toaster strudel."
Are you a bagel family? Like Ben? If you give him a blueberry bagel with cream cheese, he'll every day he'll eat a bagel. It's like, are there bagels? Because if there is, that's the answer. Like, he loves them.
Oh, I love. But
English muffins would go over well with butter and honey in our house.
Bagels are such an amazing delivery system. Bagel with cream cheese, fire. Bagel sandwich, fire. BLT, fire. You got smoked salmon on your bagel, fire, dude. It's all good.
I had a little smoked salmon.
Salmon's great. Oh,
because
bro.
of this guy.
Yeah.
I tried so many foods that I've never tried before because of him.
A lot of people from here will. I mean, it's a very common for people from where I live right now to take trips up north into Canada to do salmon fishing in the streams.
Yeah.
So we got a $10 donation from Akeem saying, last question we're gonna ask. So he says, "Do you think double primary will ever be useful in Crucible? I was using the miss combo and was having some success until I got rushed down by shotguns. It's a good question. Like, certainly the ability to have a special, like specials are inherently more powerful than primaries. The downside is simply that you don't have the ammo for them. And certainly, I mean, TV, you'd know better than anyone. Like you can run double primaries, but usually that second one is like almost always one of two things. You have either a 900 RPM or like an SMG or a sidearm to deal with close range. And then you have maybe like a hand cannon, like an Igneous, to deal with mid-game, most other engagements.
So yeah, double primary is definitely usable. The only problem, here's the thing. People aren't willing to do double primary because there's a lot of other things that you need to do alongside it. With 120 shotgun meta, it literally is equip a 120 and an aggressive frame shotgun and profit. It is that simple. When you're using double primaries, it requires a little bit more effort because a lot of times it's pulse sidearm, pulse SMG, 120 SMG, 120 sidearm, stuff like that. But you have to then go into your armor. You're going to do things like surprise attack, high energy fire, these charged with light mods. And it just requires a little bit more foresight. Can you slay out with those things? Absolutely. I get 40 bombs, 50 bombs, and even 60 bombs every single week using double primary. I'm a double primary main in Destiny PvP.
Would you say, can I challenge you a little bit and say you would probably do as well with the traditional primary plus special loadout?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Because here's the thing. The 120 shotgun meta does not take into account players who are both very talented and very thoughtful. So when I get into a lobby with a player who is a pretty decent player, they're a pretty good player, and that happens a lot because the way lobby bouncing happens, I'm usually against those people. And they don't know how to cope. They really don't know how to cope. When I have a Huckleberry with 2 stacks of Rampage and high energy fire active and Devour, and they see me coming out of a gunfight, and they're like, he's weak. And so they run into a gap, right? They're running up in a gap with no cover because they know I'm going to be weak. And then suddenly my health is full. I have 2 stacks of Rampage. I have high energy fire, and I turn and I kill them in 5 bullets from a Huckleberry. They were not prepared. You know what I mean? So like most players are not prepping for that. So they're going to put themselves in more vulnerable situations.
Because they assume it's going to just be that brain dead kill every time, right?
Yeah, I can just hold forward. And I had it with this. I had it yesterday streaming. Ended up the guy. I put the guy in my video because I like to pretend that I'm like a really nice guy, but then I'm also really passive aggressive. So I have this clip where I go on this nice 10 streak, kill this guy twice in it, and he's just a brainless Felwinter ape. And then the very last kill of the game, I come off a triple kill, and he just shows up, with me having killed 3 of his teammates because I was in a 1v4. And he hits me with a Felwinter, and he's bagging and bagging as the time expires, and it shows victory for my team. And sure enough, I dropped 46 kills and a 4.6 KD. And so the guy that's bagging, you then see the scoreboard, and he got smacked. I mean, he was a gilded flawless player, aping with a Felwinter, farming my teammates, but he couldn't handle my playstyle because he wasn't prepared for it.
Yeah.
Quick thing. We got Devin Carr. He donated a 10 bomb earlier. Love you all. I love all 3 of you. Love the podcast. Thank you, Devin. You're so cute. I want to kiss your lips.
Thanks, Edward. $5 donation.
Yep. Saying, what does it take to get a retweet from you, Kakis, showing that I got the limited sweatshirt?
I don't know.
Did you sell out of those?
They're sold out. Everyone's
awesome.
People have been asking me how to get them.
They
made 200.
I got one right here. I'm gonna find out what number it is. Let's find out.
Kackis.
I'm looking. I don't see.
Kackis.
Sweet. What?
Are you gonna use that Tumblr, the Outriders Tumblr?
You're not getting my Tumblr, dude. Get the heck out of here.
I reached out to Nell. He's like, I'm going to try and find one for you, TV. And I was like, I really hope you do. I want that.
Is there a number on it?
Yeah, on the sleeve. Like at the bottom of the sleeve. Like near the hand.
51? What is that trash, dude? 51?
Mine's 12. Just saying.
I'm sending it back. I'm sending it back. Anywho, Thank you so much for coming to this episode of the RGH Real Gamer Hour podcast. We talk about all things gaming, news, and apparently the weirdest Twitch bans we've ever heard of. If you guys want to catch us...
And who would win in a fight?
And who would win in a fight?
Tonight got weird.
Mtashed with a knife? Or Kackis? We do this podcast every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're interested in that, check it out. We stream it here on YouTube, so make sure to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. We also have it on Spotify and stuff if you want to listen to it later on. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Mtashed.
I'm KackisHD.
True Vanguard.
Wait.
And I'm gonna cut